This might be the very first time in Easy Talk history that we have royalty in the house. The Taco King. All salute, all bow down. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Fantastic. I'm in the midst of a cool guy. I can't wait to have this conversation.
Yo, I appreciate you having me on your podcast, man. Really, the honor is mine.
My producer, Matt, full disclosure, this is the first time we've actually physically met.
Yeah.
My producer, Matt, was talking you up about like, hey, man, there's this guy called the Taco King. I was like, all right, I gotta follow this guy on Instagram. I gotta see what this is about. He was like, we're doing Taco Fest. I was like, sign me up. You know what I mean? He said very good things about you and really talked up your game, about your story, about your past.
Thank you, Matt. Mateo.
And I wanted to bring you on to kind of discuss that. First and foremost, thank you for the gifts.
Boom.
I appreciate it. You brought swag, and I am very thankful.
Heck yeah, taco vibes always, man.
But so, if you don't mind, briefly introduce yourself, and then I want to get into what is the Taco King, what is Taco Fest, and why.
Who is Taco King? Yeah, so I go by the Taco King, the real Taco King on social media. The reason I do real is so I don't have to pay that $14.99 a month for the check mark, on Instagram. So I just call myself the real Taco King. But people just say the Taco King now.
Is that
that's
a
how
thing?
it started.
Because I know Twitter does that. Does it do that now?
Instagram does that now. You pay like $14.99 a month and
for a verified logo?
Just for a verified, that little blue check mark, yeah. And then you'll go and see like, oh, somebody verified just like my post, and you click on it, and they only have like 500 followers.
Listen, this podcast only has like 200.
Well, I mean, like, it's cool, but like, I would think like a verified would have like,
be verified.
Yeah, or some public speaker or
Isn't that weird that they kind of sell that? It used to be like a badge of honor, both on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, and now on, I didn't know that Instagram and Meta did it too. I guess like birds of a feather, but what do you think about that?
Yeah.
Like, it seems kind of weird, no?
Yeah.
It used to be something that we strive to attain, right? It's like, I became legitimate, like, I'm an influencer.
You can pay for your trophy.
Yes.
Instead of just getting a participation award, we go, you know what? Let's make some money on this. We hate capitalism, but let's make some money on this participation. Yeah, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so now it's, I think that's,
What did that feel for you? Like, when you see this, like, the transition to kind of sell this verification, this validity? Does it upset you? Does it make you think, like, oh, okay, like, what was I working for? Or do you just not care?
Yeah. I think that's why I call myself the real Taco King. But now, when you search Taco King, I mean, I believe it just pops up on Instagram now. But I mean, I'm still growing and getting bigger. But I think it's funny.
Yeah.
More power to them. I've learned that no matter what, people will buy something that you want to, like, you put in front of them that they want, or you've advertised that they need.
But it's
there's always someone that's going to buy something.
There's a psychological theory to that. It's like the law of scarcity, but it's more like you're selling something that previously had value because not everyone had it. But then by virtue of being able to sell it to everyone, now everyone has it. Now the value is lost.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's kind of buying something that with every purchase is losing more and more value.
Yeah.
It's an interesting paradigm.
The value of that check mark, the meaning of the check mark, it's gone. But there's a value in the business of money coming in.
Can you still get it the old way or no?
I don't know. I'm hoping I get there one day and they'd be like, you know what, let's just give you a check mark. I'll be like, yeah, high five, I made it.
I didn't even know that.
I don't know. I just know I see that you have to do, it says $14.99 a month. It's crazy.
Well, at least we know we can be verified tomorrow. Cha-ching.
Cha-ching, yeah.
So talk to me about the character or the persona that is Taco King and the event that is Taco Fest. Obviously there's a history there. And I want to kind of delve into that. You can start with where you were at today. You can start with, where you were 5-10 years ago that led to this moment.
I think it started when I was a little chavalito. No. Actually, honestly, like my family, I think it starts with my family. My parents have had a taco spot for 17 years here. My dad's uncles have had taco spots in Texas. We're all entrepreneurs in our family. And so it's like the taco thing is a family thing. My brother has a taco spot. I've worked in the taquerias on the taco trucks for years. And so that's where like the taco part of it comes. I wasn't called a taco king until like 2021, like so a year after COVID, or it could have been 2020 because they used to call me Nacho. All right, because I had short hair. My hair's long, but I used to have short hair. I didn't have the beard. It was just a mustache, so I definitely looked like Nacho Libre. And as soon as I walked in, my family, my friends would be like, Nacho! So my Instagram was actually the real Nacho KG. And I would try to, and I think I have some old like videos on there, but I would say Nacho knows tacos or something like that. And it didn't stick, and someone was like, "Hey, just call yourself the Taco King," and so
it stuck.
Yeah, so I started calling myself the Taco King and the real Taco King because there were so many different like Taco King 2020 something whatever, right? And I started doing that, and I did it on Twitter first, or not Twitter, TikTok. I did it on TikTok, and my TikTok took off. I went to like 30,000 followers, and then
Jesus.
Yeah, it was great, but my gosh, you gotta go live all the time. You gotta be posting all the time, and going live every day was just.
Is social media exhausting to you?
I think it can be.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, especially if you're running other accounts, not just your own, right? Because you got your own brand within the brand of what you're trying to build, right? And so it's like. Yeah, then sometimes I feel like I got to post certain things or not post, or why haven't you post this, or why haven't you done taco, reviews or whatnot, or so yeah, it can definitely get exhausting.
That's one of the things that kind of I don't think we really appreciate about television advertisements. It's like buying a spot. It's kind of like YouTube versus Twitch, right? Where Twitch streamers have to constantly stream and they have to constantly be online. If you're on YouTube, you could stream on YouTube as well. That's not what I'm saying. But like posting a video and then having it be there forever, you develop a library. I don't have to be on all the time.
Yeah.
I am particularly fond of the YouTube platform and the style of like, with every interview we do, with every podcast episode we create, it's like we develop a catalog and a library.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I notice is with every episode that we post, it actually kind of generates views for the previous post. And I think what's happening is like someone might come in and see the Taco King and they'd be like, what's this about? They go into there and they actually might love it or hate it. They'd be like, I don't give a shit about tacos. But then they might see like someone else. It's like, we have guys fighting, OnlyFans models, Twitch streamers.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
I'm trying to get like a plethora of people, right? Like a wide net of interesting individuals. And for me, I'm noticing that it's a lot easier to be on YouTube than any sort of like Twitch or any streaming service because we can create the videos whenever it suits our schedule. We have it, solidify it, edit it, and then once we post it, I mean, it's like off to the races.
And it can be long form too,
yes.
Right? You get that people to sit longer, more the ads, more the opportunity to monetize it as well.
The monetization is kind of secondary for me just because one, we're not monetized, and two, it's like, you know, if I told you how much money we had to put into this, you'd be like, yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? If it could get to the point where it operates under its own earnings, I'd be happy. But at the end of the day, this is like a side project / hobby / I just do it because it's really fun. Yeah, right. But to bring it back, I recently got an Instagram for the account, and I have to, you know, sit there and engage and all that stuff. Sometimes it's fun, like especially if I see content that I enjoy. But I would be lying to you if I told you that like it is work. Like I people tag you and I only have like, we have what, less than 200 followers. I couldn't imagine 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. Right. At what point does it just become noise and you're just tuning it out? Right. Yeah, it's got to be insane. I don't know. I think social media is its own little like animal, and television advertisers for the longest time could just kind of do the YouTube route where they would create the advertisement and then it would play. But you guys, like the influencers / like the actual advertisers of the next generation. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are just like pumping out content. That's got to be exhausting.
Oh man, yeah. Especially if you in the beginning when you're doing it yourself,
Yeah.
and you're editing yourself and downloading different apps to try to work with your time, and you're doing your actual job, and then this is your, like you said, your side thing, and but to get to a point now where like now I have a video guy, right? And so we'll go out on a day and record as much as we can that will allow me to have for like the next week or two, or a few weeks. But what sucks is people want more, right? So they want to. That's why they have stories. They want to see what you're doing throughout the day. That's why they have the vlogs, the day vlogs or whatever, the vloggers. So yeah, just trying to figure out when I go all in on that scheduling wise. But I guess it goes on your pace, right? Like I am not in a hurry to get there. Like I used to be in a hurry when I used to work at this Hispanic radio station here, and wanting to get the ads, wanting to get the advertising, wanting to get the more I can get in, the more I can earn and create, right? Yeah. And but now doing it myself and for my own brand and for my own sanity, it's like, you know what? I'm going to get there when I get there. And I'm going to just take my time. Yeah, I don't have 1 million followers or 100,000. I'm going to get there when I get there. And I even look at it more of, I don't care if I have that, especially because I was able to throw a taco fest with 10,000 followers, right? It's not like you had, I know I follow Gary Vee. And Gary, he always talks about like it doesn't have to be perfect. You just got to do it. You got to create, right? Don't wait, just do it, right? And that's how it's been with me. It's just I'm just gonna do it. And if it doesn't work, maybe I do it for a while, or I don't want to keep doing it. I'll stop and then try something else. But I try to keep it to my niche, right? And Taco Fest has been that thing that's have stuck so far with my taco ventures and taco niche.
So what is Taco Fest? Is it just like you're bringing a bunch of vendors and like a bunch of, I guess, purveyors of tacos together? Like, can you walk me through what is Taco Fest?
Taco Fest. Is this the one? Is this SCL up here?
Yes, sis.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so SCL Taco Fest started last year, and the idea of it started like years ago, when I started doing taco stuff, right? I was like, man, it'd be so cool to bring a bunch of taco places together and just have a taco fest, right? And it originated with just like doing taco places from my community and bringing them together, because sometimes other magazines or other places to advertise, they come in these small mom and pop shops with, I think the prices are fair. That's what the price is. But a lot of these places, they don't have that money or whatnot. So that I just wanted to be like, you know what? Let me go in there. We'll do this. We'll bring thousands of people in front of them, and be able to.
Is that how Taco Fest started? You were just trying to essentially create an environment to kind of advertise and to propagate these small mom and pop shops for tacos. Like you'd be like, hey, if we bring them, they will come.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why when you said that earlier, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Like,
if you build it, they will come.
Real talk. And we've tried to have it where like, for instance, we only want them to have 4 items on their menu. Not that their whole menu isn't awesome, right? I'm every food vendor has amazing menu, and amazing food. But what we want them to do is pick your top 4 or your top 2 or 3, focus on that. So now you have inventory management. You can have just one type of meat instead of having all these other things, and you might not sell on this. You're going to push it out. It helps with lines. It helps with getting more people in and out. And it's about promoting your business at the time, right? Instead of looking at it as I want to have my whole menu and this is where I'm setting up shop today and selling.
So you essentially created a Taco King brand and then created a festival to help market and show awareness to some of these local mom and pop spots that are in a similar genre of cuisine, which is Mexican food, tacos, and you basically did it all, and you found a way to bring it all together.
Yep. Yep.
How long did that
Salutes.
take? Yeah, dude, cheers.
Right.
I'm gonna actually have to pour myself another
So,
one.
right. Salute. Well, this is our second year and our third festival. So, I'm trying to do 2 festivals a year. Hopefully 3 maybe, but just the focus just 2 a year.
That's gotta be tough logistically.
Yeah, to do 2.
Yeah, I mean, to do one.
Oh yeah, to do 1. Yeah.
To do 2 sounds...
Oh yeah. To pick the right spots to do it. So we're still figuring that out. And a lot of it, doing the 2 helps me. Like in my head, you know how they talk about usually it takes 5 years in a business to really start seeing some profit, some gain or whatnot.
Who said that?
Or maybe I just heard that.
That's what I keep telling myself.
Right? Take 5
I
years.
hope it doesn't take 5 years.
I know I've heard somebody say that. Maybe my dad. Man, it took you, Dad, 5 years.
I like it. It's a humble. You know, hey, 5 years. That's the
Mark
goal.
Zuckerberg did it in 1, right? Yeah, man. So I want to have 2 because I feel like it helps shorten that, right? And I learn quicker. So by year 3 or year 4, we're even further ahead. Yeah, more established, and then having 2, you know, as long as we can find the places. Like,
how big is this team? Are you handling all this yourself? I'm talking about like the logistics of it, the planning, the vendors, the marketing, the location, because you're gonna need a venue, right? So you need the venue.
Yeah.
Then you need the vendors.
Yeah.
Then you need to get. I'm assuming there's some sort of like entertainment. There's some sort of like curriculum. Then there's sponsors. I mean, this is like a beast. That's why I was saying, like, dude, doing it once sounds like a lot of work.
Right. Yeah. There's definitely. So I go to. There's people I go to that have helped with it. Like I know I've had asked Matt for advice. Matt does our graphics and he does an amazing job. He's created the logo. So of course there's I can't do anything that Matt does. Matt's a magician when it comes to that. And then our videos, 1L Colin, he does all of our videos and I can't do that, right? To the vendors, has been Diana and Jeremy. They've handled that, and I've even gone to Jeremy's even helped with the marketing from kind of our first one. Helped me create the marketing packages and help me come up with pricing for that. And you know, so we sit down with the team. Like I know in my head what I want, but sometimes it's always not the right thing, so it's always good to weigh it out.
I'm just glad to hear that you're not doing it solo, because I agree with your outsourcing perspective, because there are people with different skill sets. There are people with different affinities that might not necessarily correlate to your strengths.
Yeah.
And might actually benefit to your weaknesses. So like I also have a team, right?
Most definitely.
I don't know how to do a lot of shit.
Right.
But I have a team of people that know how to do the stuff that I don't know how to do. And if I know how to do what they don't know how to do, and they know how to do what I don't know how to do, then we create the symbiotic relationship where I genuinely feel, and I hope they do as well, that these people can't do it without me, and that I can't do it without them. And when we all have skin in the game, when we all care about the product, I think, I could be wrong, right?
No,
I'm
you're
only
right.
a month into it. But I do like to think
right.
that if we all are passionate about the product, if we all feel like we're all in this race together and we're all on the same ship, then why can't this become something? Why can't we all pool our resources and our thoughts and our energies together and create something better than the sum of its parts?
Oh, I love that, man. Heck yeah. Hands down.
Right? See what happens when I drink whiskey?
Yeah. He's
I know things.
You unlock the world, right? Yeah.
No, but I just like the fact that you're not, because I do know entrepreneurs that are like, I don't want to say the word cheap. Yeah. But I think it's a combination of, they think they have the skill sets to do everything.
Yeah.
And they have the bandwidth or the time management skills to physically do it. So they think, well, why would I outsource it when I can do it myself? And I'm like, well, because there's an efficiency paradox. At what point am I now making the product worse because I'm putting all of it on my shoulders?
Yeah. I think I think it also helps with the mental state for myself to know that like I'm handing off certain, like I they know how I would like things run, or they know like, okay, Kyle likes this, like, because you're going to surround your team with not like necessarily this like same mindset, but the same mindset to get to that goal, but as that you guys know each other, the
Same
kilometer.
end goal, but different mindsets.
Yes, exactly.
We're all on the
right?
same trajectory.
Yeah, man, so they know how I like certain things, right, and I don't like things. But it took me a minute. I'm not gonna act like, oh, right away I was like, yo, here you go, I'll let you go, right? But things that have led before Taco Fest and my journey and whatnot, to be able to, when it came to my thing, be able to understand and let go, right? As in like trusting and not micromanaging and
Outsourcing.
yeah, outsourcing and just understanding. Like I wouldn't be able to help these taco trucks if I really didn't work on a taco truck. How can I relate or even tell them how to do anything if I've never worked on a taco truck?
Do you want to know what Matt said to me that solidified you being on this podcast? He said, you really get the sense that this guy cares about the vendors.
Yo.
When Taco Fest was happening, you were catering to them. You were constantly asking them like what they needed, how can we help, and all these other things. And the reason why that resonated with me is I know every successful entrepreneur, every successful individual that I know never forgot their roots and never forgot what it was like to be the nail when they become the hammer.
Yeah.
And I love that you not only are ambitious and you're trying to create this event that is simultaneously creating value for you and those around you, because ultimately there has to be a profit margin and a profit goal, right?
Definitely.
He wants to get paid, you want to get paid, everyone, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's also like an event that helps all these vendors to then do this very same thing. The more product they push out, the more advertisement and more marketing they get, the more revenue they receive. It's like a rising tide lifts all ships. So I can appreciate that, but it takes a certain individual to understand that it's not just about me. Like we may make the show,
yeah,
but without them, it's not possible.
Right.
And to acknowledge that and respect that, it shows how if I may,
yeah,
how intelligent you are.
Yo, oh, that's the first time I've heard that. Appreciate that, man. No respect on that one. That's a cheers on that one, man.
No, I'm serious. I know a lot of people.
Can we get that for? I got my old lady has to hear that one
on repeat.
I'm
every pump. You. I'm smart.
You're gonna smack me. I told you not to speak. That's a good one. No, really, much respect, man. Thank you.
No, I
really do care. I really, man. I'll tell you, man. Just I appreciate that from Matt. Appreciate that.
Like I'm sorry if I'm telling him too much, Matt.
No, Matt. Like, yeah, dude, I really do care. And it's crazy because I have to have like, sometimes other people talk to vendors because if I hear a story or something, or not saying that some people, I'm just saying like, if I just hear that, it just makes me want to think money aside, profit aside. I've always been about relationship over profit. And I know like in a business, you're in business for the profit, for the gain. Right. And, but I also take it personal because I do it personally, right? I put my energy in it. I'm not going to put my energy into something that, one, I don't want to earn an income or make, make a profit, but I don't want to put my energy into something that my name or who I am, what I leave behind really matters, whether it lasts a year, 2 years after I'm gone, whatever. But for my kids to learn, and it's hard for me to live like, how many books have we read of entrepreneurs before us or people before us that have gone after everything in the world and gained nothing, right? And they wish relationships were the thing that they want, they worked on. And I know there's people that can screw you. I know there's people that can mess with you. Like, we could go all day of what just happened with SCL Taco Fest, right? And some people are like, man, you're being really nice to these people or whatnot. But I'm like,
what does that mean?
That's just who I am, right?
What does that mean when you say things that happen in SCL?
I'm just saying, like, for instance, we didn't have Sunday at ballpark. We were supposed to go to a 2-day, and we went to 1 day. I could get real mad, and we can just point fingers, right? And we can just say, oh, it was this, and it was this and that. But what is that going to do for me the next day? Right? What is the worries of today going to cause me for tomorrow? Like, it's just going to add on. And then now I got that to worry about on top of everything logistically. And then I still got people to come in that I got to pay, from bands to workers to fees, everything on top of that. So it's like, why would I even the day of give back like anything negative to the universe, right? Like I'm just going to always be positive. I'm going to see you and believe in you, encourage you, because I want that in return, right? Even if they don't like me, they don't have to do that. I just want that in return in general, right? You want to attract that energy, right? And so,
but that's also a lot to put on yourself. You have to acknowledge that. I mean, when you're talking about these curveballs that are being thrown at you,
yeah,
you are taking on a lot of stress. You're taking on a lot of responsibility and a lot of logistical worry, and these are on your shoulders because if it's a smashing success, they say it's the Taco King, but if it's a smashing failure,
they say it's the Taco King.
It's the Taco King. So like you reap all the benefits and the rewards, but you also reap all the bullshit if it comes down the line.
Yeah.
So I can respect the mindset and I can respect the thought of like, you know what, shit happens. It might not go according to plan, but we dust it off and we keep, rolling our shoulders. We're still in the fight. That was only round one, right?
Yeah.
Simultaneously, I think it is healthy to acknowledge it and to learn from it because
Most
if you keep getting burned by... You
got to learn. You got to learn.
Well, you said earlier that you were like, the relationships mean more to me than the immediate profitability. And that's how I know you'll succeed because business is people, business is relationships.
Yeah.
And if you chose the immediate profitability over the relationships, then people would eventually stop doing business with you.
Yeah.
So to take the immediate hit for the long-term gain is something I know every successful person does.
Yeah.
How many times do you see like, the first job of, a contractor, they might do it at a discount to build a relationship with the person so that if, my dad was a contractor and he did countertops and flooring. He might give you a discount on the flooring because then he knows that if you come back 2 years from now wanting countertops, they'll come back to you because you did good work at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
So he understood the value of like building that relationship. And he was a self-employed entrepreneur, like did the whole thing my entire childhood.
Yeah.
And the reason I respected my father for that was because like he understood the value of the individual and the value of, that every dollar that they give you. It's often said that making money is easy, but to make an honest dollar, to make a dollar that doesn't hurt somebody, that doesn't steal from someone, that doesn't hinder someone, that is fucking hard.
Yeah.
So when you can do that in mass and pay people and create prosperity, not just for yourself, but those around you, that's a truly ambitious and beautiful soul, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So you're taking on a lot of this burden, and I can respect. I can respect the avenue in which you choose to attack this. It's good, but I hope that you understand that it's okay to be like, man, that was fucking bullshit, wasn't it? You know what I mean? Like, that's not fucking cool. Better remember that for next year.
I don't want anyone to think like, oh, he doesn't act like. I definitely do that but you do that with your closest, right? Like I'm gonna hit up. Like if I.
But how many of those do you have?
I hit up Matt. Oh, I just like there's probably like 4 of us. 4.
Is that enough? You think?
Yeah, like I know for 2 for sure. I grew up since I was 12.
That's beautiful.
Like that's it. They do their business. They each have their business. We do business together, like they're family, right? And then I say there's about 2 or 3 that I go to just advice with business, and I'm gonna release what I say about business because I know they're gonna understand. But then they're gonna be like, well, why don't you do that, or this, and help me understand. And I would say that besides my partner, my wife, like that's it. Like, I, and then of course we're like I'm a believer with Jesus Christ. So like I have that right there. I go to prayer every day and
God bless.
So, I'm not gonna act like I don't stress. Like, I mean, Matt, you can ask Matt. The second one in Florissant. Oh my gosh, I woke up the day of. I only got like an hour sleep because I was making margaritas.
When you say the second one, you mean the second ever Taco Fest?
Yeah, second ever Taco Fest was last year in the fall. The first one ever
during
was,
COVID.
No. This was.
Wait, we're 2024, 2023. So
yes.
We're post.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And the first one was the beginning of last year, and we had like 16,000 at Keener, and then.
Dude, that's intense.
Yeah, that's what made me go all in on the Taco Fest. Like I've been trying to build my Taco King brand and doing different taco things, podcast, like just different things, right? And nothing would stick until this Taco Fest. And then now with the Taco Fest, I've been finally wanting to push my Taco Vibes clothing. And because I always say Taco Vibes always. And So everything's adding on. Not to go down the rabbit
I do
trail,
like the sunglasses.
right?
It's just that we're indoors. Like,
Right?
Can I keep these, by the way?
Yeah.
For the
bro,
record,
yeah.
he did bring gifts. So
Yes.
like everything you see here,
Yeah,
my
keep
man,
it all,
my man hooked me up.
We got shirts over there too. We got different taco vibes. I'm into movies, so we got different taco vibes.
I want to apologize because
and I forgot what we were just saying too. Sorry.
we'll get back to it. Don't worry, I didn't forget. I want to apologize because I was unable to attend, but I heard that a lot of the people from the UFC came by, that you had a lot of foot traffic because of the UFC event.
Yeah, definitely say what they added to that. We definitely saw a lot of people with UFC shirts, and then Dana White was inside for some
Bud Light
photos.
thing.
Yeah, Photoshop stuff.
Dude, Anheuser-Busch has opened the checkbook to the UFC.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then they had the Clydesdale come down.
Did you feed him a taco?
Yeah, right. We were trying to say,
And they're like, "Sir, we will arrest you."
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude.
These are prized animals.
Yeah, they had so many police officers around the Clydesdale. I'm like, man, you would think someone like besides Dana White was on there, someone politically or something. Yeah, but yeah, they definitely brought foot traffic, man, most definitely. So
You were talking about the Florissant, the second ever Taco Fest, and how you had 16,000 people.
oh yeah. So the first one was 16. This one, Florissant, was 10,000. But I had to leave a few days
That's
before.
also amazing too, dude. 10,000 people.
Yeah, throughout the whole day.
Just don't,
Yeah.
don't shy over that number. That's fucking insane.
Oh yeah, man, it was awesome.
I'll be lucky to get 50 views. You know what I mean? So like 10,000. No, but
It was man, it's not like me. I tell the vendors every year, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have Taco Fest. If it wasn't for their tacos, right? So yes, the work and the grind and the sacrifice and the opportunities and my life and my adventure to get here has led me to here, but to understand that like others can help me get further, right? And we can all grow together in the taco community here. And yeah, but I just remember the day of, I couldn't sleep. I was making margaritas all night, and I only went to sleep for like an hour, and because we had the like pre-made in barrels and
barrels, Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
oh yeah. We were trying to sell a whole. I mean, it was great, but I remember taking a shower and I'm just like shaking, dude, and it was all like stress, nerves and whatnot, and of course once we get going and the festival, everything was great, but so there is those nerves, there are those like I do stress, I wish.
What's the culmination of
tough,
a lot of work, dude? Makes sense.
Oh yeah, man, and then this time, because we did tickets for the first time, I was really like, we do tickets just for VIP, but this time we did tickets for general missions and VIP. I was just like, yeah. So
walk me through that. So like, walk me through the business of this. So you sell tickets to get into the event, and then there's vendors, there's sponsors, there's these things. Can you just like, imagine I'm an individual who has no idea what Taco Fest is. Sell it to me. What is it that you're providing?
20 different taco spots. 20 different taco spots in there. Like it's just normally it's free. That's the thing. Okay, so but if you're buying a ticket, it's to come in to check out 20 different taco spots in one location.
Gotcha.
There's activities to do in there, but it's really focused on the tacos. So it's not like you go in and there's.
Can I hit you with
hit me?
Okay,
help me out, man.
Think about it from my perspective. Okay.
Yeah.
And
How you asking how I would promote it? Like what's the promo
I'm
of
gonna
it?
ask
Like
you, that's kind of daunting.
to tell somebody.
No, but I'm a first person. Okay.
Yeah. Do you love tacos?
Oh, dude, I'm a slut for Mexican food.
Oh my gosh! Hey, come on, man! I got this Taco Fest right over here. It's got 20 tacos.
Mediterranean food and Mexican food.
Yo,
you know what though?
I love
You know what's
Mediterranean.
creeping? Indian food. Indian food is also creeping.
You like Indian food?
Dude, I love. First of all, I'm a slut for all food.
Okay.
So like, I haven't met a meal that I would not devour.
I know what will get him to be a little free and loose.
I had so many years of my life because of wrestling and fighting that I was cutting weight.
Oh,
that and also
that
when
way,
I was,
those weight classes,
dude.
man.
When I was little,
I was big boy weight class. I didn't have to.
What is big boy?
I would take 215 and then 275.
Oh yeah, you were solid.
Because I was at 225, I had to wrestle the big guys. And then I would get to 215,
that's a big
then
gap.
Yeah, right. Because the big guys are up to.
Well, if you're 225
275.
wrestling a 260, that's rough. But if
Right?
you're 215 wrestling 215, less rough.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But you know what's crazy about that though? 215 is usually harder because you get the guys like the tweeners that they're huge but not fat. So like a lot of heavyweights are heavyweights.
They're really like 200.
We're about to get shit on by the
190.
wrestling community, but I coach high school wrestling now.
Okay.
And whenever we're at state, let's just say that the heavyweight weight class is not as competitive as the 215 weight class. Or I believe now it's like 220 or 205. I forget the weight because they've changed the weight class to be more like college.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But let me take a step back. So the reason why I love all cuisine is because I spent so much of my time on this planet. I'm 31 years old.
Yeah.
I've been cutting weight for 18 years of those 31 years, right? So like whenever I was off camp, bro, I was fucking shoveling it down.
Yeah.
And we also grew up poor, so when I was little, like I didn't get to pick what I ate. Yeah. Whatever my mom made, that's what we were eating. You know what I mean?
either eat it or don't weigh. That's what my mom would say.
Yeah, or you're gonna do the poor man's meal, which is go to bed hungry.
Yeah.
Cómetela
y no. That's what they say. Eat it or not. Yeah.
Dude, my mom made me cry one time making lentil soup. I didn't want lentil soup, and she's like, "No, you're fucking eating this shit." Shout out, mom. Now I love lentil soup.
Did you just eat crazy? It with just that's it? No bread, no crackers, nothing?
I just basically scarfed it down.
But now you love it.
The irony in life is...
Now you taste it.
Now, when I was little, I used to hate my mother's cuisine because it was all I had. But now, I would literally fight a man to have something home cooked from her. Isn't that the irony of life?
Right.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, my parents didn't believe in waste, and they believe what we make is what you eat. And if you don't eat it, then see you in the morning.
There's also a different generation where, like, I don't know how my mom fucking did it. She would work 10-hour days
all the time.
By the time I came home from school, I don't know how she did it. There would still be something ready to eat.
Right.
I would come through the door, it'd be like 4:00, dinner's ready. Go take a shower, come get a plate.
How many siblings do you have?
Just me and my brother.
That's it. Are you the oldest or youngest?
Youngest.
Youngest. How old's your brother?
He's 3.5 years older than me.
He wrestled too?
No, dude. No. Me and my brother are. For the longest time, I thought me and my brother had nothing in common. Only now, when I'm a little older, and the difference between an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old is immense. The difference between a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old is immense. The difference between a 30-year-old and a 33-year-old, not that much, right? Yeah. So now in our older age, do I realize like, oh, yeah, that's my fucking brother. Because I see him do things that I'm like, that looks like me. Like, whatever is in my blood, whatever's in my brain, there's a semblance of that in him. We're different, but we share. It's like a Venn diagram. Yeah. We're different, but we have a lot of overlap. And when I was growing up, me and him didn't necessarily have like a super... How many siblings do you have? Damn you Mexicans.
I don't think I'm the oldest of 8.
8? God bless your mother. Are your parents still alive?
Yeah.
Dude, God bless.
Yeah.
All siblings still alive, I hope.
Yeah.
God bless.
Yeah.
So oldest of 8.
Yeah.
I want to get to what that's like, but let me just finish this
One girl
thought.
and the rest are boys.
No shit. Yeah. That's a fucking competitive household. But you're the oldest, so you're like, fucking get some. But to bring that point back around, I wish I could sit here and tell you that me and my brother had a super tight relationship.
Yeah.
But the best way to describe it would be like a stoic love, where me and my brother, if my brother needed anything, he knows he can call me and I will move heaven and earth to do something for him.
That's love.
Especially after we lost our mom, it even got even stronger like that.
Yeah.
But if you told me to like call him on the daily and be like, how you doing, brother? That's just not us. So I see some of these family members and some of these, like my wife, for instance, they hang out all the time. And for me, this was just weird. I don't know if it's like because she's a girl and I'm a guy, like maybe we just didn't have the same paradigm, right? Like men have more stoicism, right? Like we have to kind of shield ourselves from our emotions. So maybe that's it. I'm not sure. But if my brother needed me, I would, there's nothing on this planet, literally nothing on this planet I wouldn't do. And I know that if I needed him, there's nothing he wouldn't do. But the little shit, we just don't have it. Yeah. We don't invite each other over for dinner. We don't like.
I can relate, man. I don't really talk to a lot of my siblings. My brother that owns Locos Tacos, and I go there and he has a discount thing for me, but we don't really talk.
Do you like that, or would you want it to change? Because sometimes
I think like the same with you, right? Wouldn't you like a relate? Because if you think about it this way, how old is he?
He's 3.5 years older than me. I'm
Okay.
30. He actually just had a birthday. Happy
So when
birthday,
you
Andy.
yeah,
Cinco de Mayo.
Woo woo!
He's May 5th.
He
yeah.
really celebrated. They all came for my birthday.
So he
Right?
just turned 35 because I'm
Yeah.
31. He's 3.5 years old. So I turned 32. Yeah. Okay. So he just turned 35.
Just imagine this with me for a bit. You as a kid, with him as a kid, like probably that moment where you guys were really cool as kids. Right, like I don't know if you guys really hung out with. I can, for me and my brother Tyler, like that. I always think about that. Like when we were kids, we were the closest, and then you know you get adult and shit happens, right? And so yeah, I would love that same relationship I have. I would love that as now.
But I don't understand that we're adults. Shit happens. When me and my brother were younger, we were always like this.
Yeah.
We were never. Don't get me wrong. Even back then, I loved him, and I know he loves me.
Yeah.
But we just were never, rarely hugged.
Yeah.
Very, very rarely talked about our feelings. Or even now.
Is that something your parents did?
No, my mother, dude. My mother was.
You guys weren't like huggers?
No.
Yeah.
Yes and no. If it mattered, yes.
Yeah.
But I guess the way I would describe it is peaks and valleys, right? The peaks were immense.
Yeah.
But the valleys were long.
Yeah.
So like when we did.
That makes sense.
Let me put it to you this way, dude. If my brother came to me and was like, "We got to do some shit."
Yeah.
That could possibly ruin your life. He is the only person I would be willing to risk it all for.
Yeah.
Literally. Not my father, not my wife, no one else other than him. And if you ask me to pinpoint why that is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we're not that close.
Yeah.
But for some reason, and mind you, I know in my heart, because I've seen him do it, he would also do it for me. So I think there's just many, they say love languages, which is a...
Yeah.
It's an
It's like
interesting
an act of
term.
service, touch, stuff like that.
So I think our brotherly bond might be a different type of brotherly bond. There's people that are like more volume, less intensity. Let's just say we're volume all-time low, intensity all-time high.
Yeah. But would you love to hang out with him more?
I don't know. Dude, maybe this is God working in mysterious ways. I'm a very aggressive person. I'm very confrontational.
Yeah.
If I agree with you, it's true. Matt, can you attest? If I agree with you, you'll know. If I disagree with you, if I think you're spouting some bullshit, you'll fucking know. And Andy is the exact same way.
That's your brother's name?
Yes.
Okay.
If you put us together, I guarantee you it's only a matter of time. Maybe that's why it is. Because it's only a matter of time before we come to...
Wouldn't you say that's a brother thing, though? A sibling thing? Because, like, I annoy the crap out of my sister because where I stand, like, if we talk anything politics or whatnot. Like,
just the difference of perspective?
Yeah, she's in this whole... I'm 38, so she's 20.
Oh, dude.
Something.
Stop. She doesn't know shit.
Seattle University.
Oh, she's bathed in liberal waters. Molded by them. She votes blue no matter who. Give her some time. Let her hit a different tax bracket.
My family probably has something to do with that. There's not a lot of
super liberal family from Mexico, really?
Right side in our family, yeah.
No shit.
Well, in my intermediate family, so like my parents, there's a lot in our family that are right.
Well, you also have a lot of siblings, so I mean, by
Mexicans
virtue of higher numbers, you're gonna have more range, right? Mm-hmm. Walk me through that, because I only have one brother. I don't even know how this paradigm would shift if I had more than one sibling.
Right.
This might be a dark question to ask. How do you feel about do you love your siblings all equally?
Oh, heck yeah. I don't talk to them all equally. Like, we all don't talk and whatnot. But I talk more with my brother Tyler and then my brother Aiden and my sister Sarah. But the other ones, not really, every now and then. So...
What are those conversations like? More just like hi-bye, simple stuff?
Yeah.
Anything deep?
Well, I missed one. Well, one was probably kind of upset because I missed his wedding, but I just had my son. So it was like,
okay, that's a good reason.
Yeah,
that's a good reason. I'm sorry, that's a good reason.
But he didn't really say
much. I was about
much.
to give you shit, but
He
then
said,
I was like, ooh.
No, he was like, congrats, whatnot, and it's like, I can't miss that, right?
No, in a lot of ways, we're kind of polar opposites because my family was very small. We only ever had 4, and then when my mom died, we only had 3, and we used to call each other the Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Which only made this paradigm of like spatial awareness and long periods of recess and then short periods of excess kind of more my perception of it only grew. It's like, oh shit, like we basically don't talk to each other for like 3-4 months.
Yeah.
And then we meet each other and it's like we didn't
Yeah.
not talk for 3-4 months. But you have a completely different paradigm where you have 8 siblings and it's kind of sounding like it's somewhat similar to my situation. Do you think that's a paradigm of just growing older and everyone's got their own life and we're all kind of respectful of that? Like you're 38, you said?
I think it's the way you grow up too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. But
So you're 38 with how many children?
5.
My man.
No one's ever heard that really. So.
My man.
And I signed a contract.
We can
I swear I've never. Everyone asks me, always on live and this. They always want to know about Taco King. And you know, you're talking about earlier about bringing in social media. I don't post about my kids. I don't post about my
definitely
family
don't.
and whatnot.
Definitely
like,
don't.
I keep it separate. I keep it out of there. Like,
I
not that I'm trying to get booty.
No,
that
no,
ain't
no,
it, right? It's just, it's...
Dude, there's weird people out there. There's weird people
There's
out
already
there.
people want to be Taco King, and it's weird.
I have a daughter, and I used to post everything on social media because I was a fighter, so it was kind of like a marketing thing.
Yeah.
But the second I had my daughter, I was like, ooh, I got to kind of tone this down because there are weird people in the world.
Yeah.
And I would prefer not having altercations with them because I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
And I like my life outside behind bars or outside of the bars.
Yes. Yes. Like
So.
you can like I used to have that mentality growing up. I ain't ever going to snitch. Like I don't want to snitch, but if it has to be go to 20 years in prison over my kids, I'll be like, I don't know, man. I don't want to be behind bars while my daughter's right 20 something.
Do you have a background like that?
No.
You say
No. Well, back in the day, yeah, I would say. I mean, I got kicked out when I was like 15.
from your house?
Yeah, and pretty much been living on my own since I was 15. And then
Do you want to talk about that, or is that a touchy subject?
no, it's not. No, it's not touchy. It's kind of
Why 15? Why'd you get kicked out?
dark. Oh man, I was bad. Like looking at it now, I was somewhat troubled, but I had a lot of issues from. All right, so we talk about my siblings, right? The other half are my half brothers. That I just found out about them maybe like 10 years ago or so, 11
Father's
years
side?
ago. Yeah, my father's side.
What was
And
that like?
it was cool. Oh, it was cool. Just meeting them and just looking at them like, man, you guys look just like me. Yeah, and but their dad, our dad left them too, and they kept looking at me like
You were the one they
father
chose.
figure and whatnot, and I just wasn't ready, man. Too. I mean, like I was in my late 20s. I feel like I was still figuring stuff out, right? But my mindset was the radio station. My mindset was building the broadcasting for the Cardinals at the time, the Spanish broadcasting, and I just didn't have time. Like I didn't even have time for my family. Like at the time, I was losing my family.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think it's possible to help those around you when you haven't helped yourself? Or to the detriment of yourself? Because it's something that I kind of wrestle with. Like, I could probably do more good for others, but if I gave up the limited time that I do have as free time.
Yeah.
So right now I have, let's say you have a pie chart of your time. It's 100%, right? A portion of it has to go to my wife and kid, or else they will leave me.
Yep.
A portion of it has to go to my professional life, or I won't make money.
Yep.
And then a portion of it has to go to, wellness, like sleeping regularly and things like that. So that small portion that I have left, let's say that's like 20% of my pie chart, that is what I try to use the most efficiently.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like I could be doing more for those around me. And sometimes I feel like I need to fixate on myself, because if I can create the most amount of wealth and prosperity for myself, then I can spread it around. Because I always think like, okay,
Yeah.
would you rather me give you 10% of $100 or $1,000? But I told you that for the $1,000, you'd have to wait a couple more months. I think the logical,
Let's wait a couple more months.
the logical response would be wait a couple months. But it's also the tougher pill to swallow, because you're foregoing those immediate. the immediate gain or pleasure of time with me. So like,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many friends I've had to be like, guys, I love you, I do,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I just have so much on my plate. I have so much shit I'm doing.
Yeah, most definitely.
And the reason you love me is because of the way I'm built. It's because of the way I am.
Yeah.
And take the good with the bad. Sometimes I feel guilty. Sometimes I feel guilty because I'm pursuing so much of my own endeavors that I'm kind of taking away from the relationships that I have. And you were saying earlier that you have about like 4 people in your inner circle. I have like
I get some more
2.
of that.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. You kidding me? I'll do more too.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't mean to cut you off on that.
Producer Matt, will you do me a favor? Can you get the ice tray from there?
This one mine? Yeah.
I'm gonna join you, brother.
Appreciate it. That's cool.
The whole thing. Oh, the small one. Don't worry, we're doing this live.
Yeah.
You're good. Yeah, you're good, brother.
Yep, I got you.
Give yourself some if you want.
Okay.
I don't want to touch your ice cubes.
I appreciate that.
It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, that's good.
It's something I'm tackling as I get older.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm tackling it this way is because I feel the right word to use is guilty.
Yeah.
What is the correct amount of time to be giving to those around me to facilitate the relationships I have, while simultaneously the correct amount of time to pour into myself to make sure that I'm the best version of myself when I do give that time? I don't know if anyone has the answer.
Yeah. I don't think any answer is the right answer because there's gonna be people that say you always should pour into you first, right? Whatever that looks like, from growth mentally, physically, if it's working out, if it's eating healthy, if it's spending money on you or spending resources, whatever, but I always have that mindset of others, and even with my family, we always like to put others first. So it's almost, so everyone's different, right? Because me saying putting others first, some people are like, oh shit, that don't make sense. Like I need to make sure my things are taken care of. If it's correcting, I need to take the speck out of my eye before I take the speck out of somebody else's eye, right? If I'm trying to correct. But if it's like growing and helping or just being there for as we should, as a neighbor, as a patron, as an American, where we should be there for other Americans, right? But we have that mindset of me first, or how do I get it? Or if I give it to them, what are they going to do with it because I gave it to them?
Or how much of me am I giving up?
Yeah. And so I just look at it as I'm not sacrificing or giving, I guess, just giving, it's just being there. Like, and even if it's just for a brief moment, why would I let that little brief moment affect the rest of my life? Even if the rest of my life is a brief moment in itself, right?
Let me hit you with something that I ponder frequently. You let me know what you think, whether or not I'm fucking crazy or not.
Yo, go for it.
As I age, and I'm only 31, I know that you're my senior, so forgive me on this one. Well, I want to be careful how I speak about wisdom to people that are older and wiser than me, right? But one of the things I think about is, the majority of my life up until now has been kind of getting me to this point. So like from 1 to 18, you're basically like fucking hitting puberty, formulating. You're not really doing anything for society. You're just kind of making sure that you're progressing at a normal rate. From 19 to 22, it's honestly prevent irreversible mistakes, to be quite frank with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From 22 to 26, it's kind of like this, who am I? Who do I want to be? What do I value? What do I want the rest of my life to look like? From 27 to now, it was if 22 to 26 was like, who am I? What do I want? 27 to 31 was like, all right, let's build that foundation.
Yeah.
And right now, in a lot of ways, I feel like I've done the work and I'm ready for this next stage of my life, but I'm not sure what that stage should look like. There's a part of me that thinks I could do good now. I have enough means. I've done enough to create the limited prosperity that I can around me. do I forego that now and continue to focus on myself and be a little selfish to build more wealth, more networking, more relationships, more intelligence, more wisdom, and then, by the time I'm 35, I have even more to work with?
Yeah.
Does that make me selfish? Does that make me wise? This is kind of the paradigm in which I try to tackle life, because the reason the theme of this is black and white is because I love the yin yang symbol. I can see the good and the bad and the good. And there's no such thing as like true good, true evil. You can see both in both. And right and wrong is a lot of times differentiated by context and perspective, right? If you murder, that's bad. But if you murder a murderer, that's justice.
That's great.
So I think to myself, I'm 31 years old. I'm like on the precipice of the next 30 years of my life, which is the true growth.
Yeah.
And I have very limited time, and maybe I'm overthinking this. But I think to myself, what is the most efficient use of that time? How much more can I do for myself, for my family, for others?
Yeah.
Because ultimately, the thing that drives me more than anything is like when I finally leave this earth, will I look back with regret, or will I look back at I received this world at a 0, I gave it back at a 1, meaning I gave more than I took. And I don't know if, to be frank with you, I don't know if that's a healthy outlook.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm overthinking life.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should just fucking relax.
Yeah.
But so far, this mentality has provided to me all of the luxuries that I have been able to afford up until now.
Yeah.
So it's like confirmation bias.
Yeah.
I'm receiving success, so I'm thinking, well, what I'm doing is right. But I never want to assume that what I'm doing is right.
Yeah.
I always want to chin check myself. I want to say, like, just because it worked for me
How does
before.
your body feel?
Yes.
Right?
Just because it worked for me before doesn't mean it'll work for me tomorrow.
Yeah.
So when you're slightly older than me, do you think I'm crazy for the way I think?
No, I used to think that too. I used to do that too, and then it was always go, 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 and why you won't slow down. And I do believe now you have. I wish I would have balanced more things. So
What do you mean by that? You work too much?
Yeah, man.
What did you miss? Time with your family?
Oh man, that, and really time for myself. Like going, like, how fast do you want to get there? Really? Do you want, like, because, and at the same time, like, you can make a post tomorrow and it can hit 1 million. You can make a post that you think is going to hit 1 million and hit a few hundred, right? So you at any point in time, you can make it, on that aspect. But like, how fast do you want to get there? And I wanted to get there fast. Like, I started working for a radio station as a salesperson, and I worked my way up. I saw an opportunity. Oh, it's a Mexican radio station here. There's nothing here like that. The opportunities, if I can present it and build it here, I see the numbers, I see the statistics and where the population and the numbers are showing with the census. There's a business opportunity here. So I wanted to get there fast. I wanted to be known. I was at the radio station from morning till night.
Did you have something to do with a professional sport around town?
Like the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spanish broadcasting for them, yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Like, as in, like,
the lessons learned, the life lived?
Oh, man. Yeah,
because when you say radio station, you're kind of being vague.
So
I know a little bit about
I wanted to get there. Look, I wanted to get there. So I worked fast to get to that point to work with the Cardinals. I knew that if I can get the Cardinals with this station, the station will do great. St. Louis, man, they love the Cardinals. Like, they can say the most negative thing ever politically, and it don't matter. People will love the Cardinals, man.
Crazy sports town.
It's a crazy sports town, and Cardinals is the religion. I bet you there's a Cardinals player on every Cardinal fan's wall, or their parents' parents. So I knew, as a business, and to do it, to build a Mexican station in the middle of America where there's not a lot of Latinos, if I had the Cardinals, it'd be easier. So I sacrificed, like, my family's time, my time.
How old were you during this time?
24 to 29.
You were young.
Yeah.
You were young.
Oh, yeah, man. And then I had my first kid my first 2 kids towards the last the last 10 years of being with the radio station. And but I had the opportunity to build the Spanish broadcasting for the Cardinals. And what I mean by that is like finding the anchor, coming up with the co-anchor, the co-host, right, to make the call, going out and getting sponsorship for a few years of it to make it go like, hey, look, this is worth it. We're getting it out there. We did 2 games the first season. I think the next season we did 12, and then the next one it was like 30 before they went a different direction. And a lot of that, like the different direction part, like it wasn't like necessary then. Back then, when you're in the heat of the moment and you lose something that you built and you feel like it was taken away from you, right?
Elaborate on that, man.
Yeah, man. Like that alone, like that.
Did you feel robbed?
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, but at the same time, in that moment, you don't think you're wrong.
Can you elaborate on the situation? You can say everything that happened without having to say it in a negative light, but essentially, you built up a thing, and they outsourced you.
Yeah, I don't get no recognition, man. I know they've even gotten awards for it, but
awards for what? That's what I'm trying to say.
For their calls or for their broadcasting.
There might be people that watch this that have no idea what.
Yeah. About. So the Cardinals have probably gotten awards. You know, they get baseball teams get awards for their broadcasting and certain calls and whatnot. And I think they've gotten 1 or 2 because they still use the same team. You know, it's still the same host and co-anchor for the broadcasting. And it took me a minute to be cool with it and to still support it because it's something I built. Why wouldn't I still support it? Even though I kind of got screwed in the whole thing. I built it, right? It's still going. It's still the same 2 people that are doing the calls that I built, right? And now everything, and I'm not crazy because I used to speak about this before it happened, and I would say, watch, this broadcasting is going to get big sponsorship and this and that, and now they starting to get it. I don't know the money on it and what they charge, but all I know is they got McDonald's sponsoring it now. They got Ford. They got all these big, and not even a first pitch. Like, I wouldn't want a first pitch. I have people get really hyped about that, but you can pay to get the first pitch. Companies will pay for first pitch all day long. But I will tell you this. So like for instance, like Polo, he's the anchor, right? I believe he is one of the best. We're friends now. He was with us. We had bumpy during the whole process with the Cardinals and the radio station, and I totally understand why he would go and work for the Cardinals and leave the station and go and work. I get it. Like he grinded, right? He got to that point where I found him. It wasn't that I found him. Yeah, that's awesome. I found him. He was a needle in a haystack. And he can call anything. I promise you, he can call anything. He's marketable. You look at him, you can make bobbleheads. Like I felt like I was blessed. I felt like the Lord brought me them. This was going to happen. This is going to be amazing. But I get why he would go with the Cardinals because in every MLB team, the broadcaster works for the team and not for the station. So it just sucks we couldn't have kept him. It probably would have been a different story, and we bumped heads and said things we didn't want to say, because it's the heat of the moment, right? And it hurt me so bad, man. I literally almost took my life, man. Like back in right before Taco Fest, right? Like it was like 2021. I tried ending my life because of it finally hit me, everything, like losing everything and family. I was losing my family still and all this. And of course I didn't do it, right? For me,
clearly.
Yeah, right? Like, this is a ghost, Ghostbusters 5. I definitely for me, it's like God saved me in that. And realizing a purpose, not just like with tacos, right? But just showing love, man, and showing that we can get over things and we can forgive, and it's about relationships, right? Even in business, yes, they might have screwed me, but few years down the line, I'm going to be here and they're going to want to work with me. Why would I deny that money? Because it's a business, right? It is personal, but it's business. And now I look at it as, hey, man, we're making the best possible decisions. It's nothing against you. That's where like it's I love you. I'm going to hug you. Yeah. Like even to the ones that have screwed me with the Cardinals, if I've seen them and I've eaten tacos with them, I want to break tacos with people, like that's the whole thing with breaking bread, right? It's breaking with your enemies to get to know them and understand them. And in that process, you actually become friends with your enemy. And I'm not saying the people I eat tacos with are my enemy, but I just want to take the aspect of knowing. So it's, going down the rabbit trail.
No,
This is really good, bro.
Listen,
I'm going to get a bottle of this.
well, I don't want to make you say anything you don't want to say. And
No, you're fine, man.
I didn't know some of these.
I used to not be able to talk about it, but I've since this past few years I've been able to, and I'm good, man. It's like nothing now will bother me or hurt me, or especially just building Taco Fest and building my brand. And I'm not anywhere I'm going to be. I just know, like, it just doesn't matter. Like, if my grandma died yesterday, I hope she doesn't, right? Or tomorrow, like, I would be sad. But do we stop, right? Or do we got to keep going, right? Like, I love my grandma. She's like my mom, right? But I've just learned to be like, it's life. And I think once you get to that, like anything that comes at you, it should just,
I am consistently torn between constantly never showing emotion and trying to be authentic. You were very authentic in that 10-minute span of telling me some of the darker moments in your life. And I can appreciate you for that, because I think one of the things that we are desperately hungry for as a society and a culture is authenticity. That we don't know it all. That we are consistently falling short, making mistakes. And when we look to social media, when we look to those around us, because we're only showing the good, the perception is that everyone else is doing better than we are.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I brought you on this podcast was to kind of delve into your story, your past, your present.
Yeah.
What helped shape the man that I see me before? Sorry, what helped shape the man that I see before me today? I didn't know some of these things about you, and I want to say I'm sorry, because I don't want to make you say anything you don't want to say. But if I may, I do think that there's a beauty to it as well. I think that there's a beauty to being a little vulnerable at times. There's a beauty to saying, hey, listen, there is some shit that can happen to you. And pressure can break people. But if it does not, it is also the force that will create a diamond. And the message in there is, in my opinion, more beautiful than the downfall. And that is because there is no life without struggle.
Yeah.
You will have setbacks. You will have things that don't necessarily go your way. You will have people that hurt you. You will have circumstances that don't necessarily fall within the purview of what you thought was acceptable. But it is how you navigate those waters. It is how you position yourself for the next battle that is more important than anything else.
Right.
But it is more easily said than done. When you look back at your life, do you take pride in the battles that you've overcome? Do you take pride in the fact that this could have been worse, that these times could have been worse, that you overcame a lot? And by the way, brother,
Like to myself?
the goal is not to make you emotional. So
No, you're
forgive me.
fine.
But if I may,
Yeah.
there's a beauty to this story as well. And I hope that you see that as much as I do. I didn't know this about you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you brought it up.
Yo.
Because I know for a fact you're not alone. There are
Right.
people that have. I want to be careful.
Yeah, we all have things, right?
I want to be careful how I word this. There are battles within everybody.
Right.
And it is not the ones we lose that we should count. It's the ones that we win.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that
which is it's crazy because it's always the ones we lose that somehow are the loudest over. Like even like Goggins, David Goggins, he had maybe a month ago he just did a post about all the negative comments, right, that he would get about the dumbest things ever. But even just to post a comment about it, but to give that light or time of day about negative comments, it has to get him just a little bit, you know.
Do you think that's human nature to fixate on the negative?
I would think so, because there's something inside of us that we want to be loved or like. I think
affirmation
so.
from the outside for our decisions.
Yeah, especially like if you believe in somewhat of a creator or whatnot. Like for me, I believe that a creator with love, so there's love in me, so I want that love from others, you know. But yeah, I honestly believe deep down inside we want some attention, you know.
I don't know. I don't know if it's attention. I think what it is more than anything, if I may, you let me know if you disagree.
No, go for it.
We're constantly navigating, and we're trying to. I mean, we're bumping against the walls. We're constantly making mistakes. So what we want more than anything is affirmation that the path that we're on is the correct one.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And when you're a kid, it might be a father saying "good boy."
Yeah.
If you're an adult, it might be like a teacher or a principal, or if you go into the military, you're higher up saying "good job, son." You know what I mean? If you're in the workforce in your early 20s, it could be a boss saying, "Well done, here's your annual review."
Yeah.
But I think, in a weird way, we're constantly chasing attaboys. Like, attaboy.
Yeah.
Like, because you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't know if this is right or wrong. You're navigating uncharted territory, uncharted waters.
So it's good to have like a father figure, you would say. No? I'm not talking about like business, just like as we do our life and walk.
Do you think, let me ask you this. Do you think you would get the same appreciation from an individual or from the masses? If you had 1,000 people telling you good job or one person telling you good job, which one do you value more?
Oh man, I think it depend. Like
Depends on the person,
right? Wouldn't it? Because if it's just like, all right, let's say it's the person that you really value, like that one person. But then I could say that sometimes. That's a great one, right?
It is.
I guess the situation. I mean, definitely like one person, but it could be the masses, man. Like I like seeing that I have a lot of views.
Pros and cons to both.
Right.
An individual that you highly respect and admire, their affirmation would be weighted higher.
Yes.
But if you're of an entrepreneurial mindset,
the masses.
The masses.
Like if you're trying to sell something, I need to know a lot more.
That's the market.
Yeah, most definitely that way. Yeah, but if it's like one individual, and it's something to do with me, I would like to hear that from that person.
This was a much deeper and philosophical conversation I thought we'd get into. I appreciate your ability to expose yourself. I don't want to. I don't want to keep the conversation here, not because I don't think it has value, but because not on the first one.
Yeah, right.
Next time we're here. Next time we're here.
Yeah.
One of the conversation pieces that I did want to ask you is, you've done how many Taco Fests now? 3, correct?
Yeah, 3 Taco Fests.
What does the future hold for you? What did you learn from the successes and failures? What are you thinking for next year? Obviously, you were talking earlier about possibly doing 2 in a year. Yeah. Do you still want to do 2?
We have 1 in the fall coming up. We don't have a date yet.
Venue?
That we're promoting yet. No, not we're not promoting location yet. You'll know. I promise you'll know.
I'll come down, brother.
Yeah, most definitely, man. But yeah, there's definitely 1 in the fall. We have Taco Crawl happening in July, and then 1 in September, right before we do ours in the Taco Fest in October. Taco Vibes clothing in the future. I'm going to be focusing a lot on the clothing brand here moving forward, and I got a taco trip I'm going on next week. That I'm driving from here to California, and I'm gonna be in LA, San Diego, and San Francisco. Shit. Yeah, for like a week.
This is not just a St. Louis thing.
No. I want to go big. Like I'd rather people say, "Oh yeah, that's Taco King. He's from St. Louis." not, oh, that's Taco King. He does St. Louis stuff, right? Like, not I don't want to do St. Louis stuff, but like, I just want to expand it, right? Like Taco King.
Jesus Christ, dude, that is a
What, no.
scope.
Yeah, that's what. So that's
Here I am thinking that you're just like the St. Louis guy.
Well, I am a St. Louis guy, just not. Yeah,
Not
I hear what you're
the
saying.
St.
I hear
Louis
what you're
guy,
saying. though,
yeah,
but
only St. Louis
respect.
guy.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah. So we leave the 24th, and I'll be back June 1st or June 2nd, and I'm driving from here. We'll hit Kansas City, and I'll hit maybe 4 or 5 spots, and then I'm gonna hit Denver, hit 4 or 5 spots, and then Las Vegas. I'll be there for 2 days, and then LA will be there for 2 or 3 days, and then trying to link up with like influencers and collaborate with a few people to make it like if I'm gonna do this. Like,
Going balls deep.
yeah, man. And
Sorry.
Yes, man. Are you ready for a
That's
cock
the fighter in me
sandwich?
coming out.
You ever seen Harold and Kumar? No, you ever seen
Which
Harold
one,
and
bro?
Kumar?
They
The
had, like,
second
6
one, the
Guantanamo Bay?
Yeah, where the guard comes out and
the
he's
guy
like, "You
that's
ready
like-
for a cock sandwich?" Yeah, sorry, I'm
Jesus
just.
Christ.
That's what I'm pretty much doing to the world with it. Yeah. So, but yeah, man. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes, and we'll be going live every day on Instagram and TikTok. And I got my Taco Vibes clothing that I'm gonna be wearing on all my gear to kind of push
The brand.
Yeah. So Taco Vibes, man, always. That's the future.
Does expansion scare you?
No, I'm. You know how you're ready, but
Yes.
you're not ready because you know if you get it. If I would have been here 2 years ago, I would have just lost everything even more. Like I truly believe so. But now I believe I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to collaborate, get out there in front of people more. Like I use St. Louis as that platform to interview people on the street. Never did that before, but my video guy, Colin, man, we were standing there for 5 minutes on Del Mar when I did my first ever interview in the street. And Colin goes, "Okay, here." And he gives me the camera and he takes the mic and he just right away goes up to someone. "Hey, what kind of tacos do you like?" And they're like, "Oh, man, we like beef tacos and this tacos." And I go, "Okay." He just did that like that. He was trying to tell me, you're not going to just wait for the right person. You're just going to go up and talk to somebody.
Thank God it wasn't like some like the kind that doesn't smell.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So it was cool, man. It was I used St. Louis for that, and I got comfortable, and started at Keener, and then Del Mar, and Maplewood, and like just doing it different places in St. Louis, and now I can't wait to get to Las Vegas, bro. Honestly. Like, I can't wait to get on the strip and interview as many people as I can, and then go to as many taco places. And I'm a road warrior. I love fucking driving. If I got to go anywhere, I'm driving, man. I'm not a flyer. Okay, I will fly for this. Like at one point, I really want to be on Food Network, and I would love to do Paradise Tacos.
All right.
Searching for the best Paradise tacos, so that way I can go island to island and have Food Network pay for that. That would be dope. Just eat tacos like that. But so as you can see, it's the taco thing. But I'm excited about this trip, man. Some of the collaborations are really cool, and linking up with some comedians, and yeah, man, to get to this point. Like, I'm still nowhere. I feel like I'm, like my buddy the other day, he's like, "Oh, wow, dude, you don't realize who you are. You don't understand that you're the Taco King, what you put on. Like, you have a festival that wasn't here before, and now it's here." And even Matt has said stuff like that to me. And I'm finally, like, at this point where I can take that. Like, I used to not be able to take compliments. Now or even know how to receive them. Or if I say, "Oh yeah, thank you," are they thinking like, "Oh, you conceited or something," or whatever, right? But now I'm at that point where I'm ready. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to do my story. I'm ready to I'm just ready, man. Like, and nothing matters. Anything I say, anything the truth and what I believe, what I've seen, how I've projected it, my reality. I'm just ready to say it, from the past to the darkness. If I cry or laugh, I'm ready. So, and I believe it's finally that time, man. Like I truly believe it's that. Like, and I know we've always had that moment, right? Yeah, this is it. But like, I feel good, like I don't have no heaviness.
I think it's a beautiful thought.
Yeah.
Ben Lawler and the Tom James family will ensure that whether you're purchasing your first custom fit suit or your 50th, the process is unrivaled. With the experience and quality of the Tom James name, allow Ben Lawler to help shape the vision that is your professional brand with a suit that speaks to the conviction in their craft. With fabric sourced here in the US, you'll know quality and craftsmanship are top of class. Like a sculptor examines wet clay before creating a masterpiece, Ben Lawler will walk you through the process of selection, measuring, and stitching to ensure your finished product is a work of art. Putting your trust in Ben is a guarantee that your brand will elevate to the next level. And always remember, you don't get a second chance at a first impression. That was maybe the most stealthy and strategic bio break I could probably fit into this episode.
Out.
You briefly discussed that you're ready for Vegas. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be stopping in Vegas with my taco trip and going to be collaborating with a few people from TikTok and Instagram. Like I have a buddy that, he probably has like 300,000 on TikTok, and they call him Jose the Taco Guy. We're going to be doing some TikTok stuff. And what he does on TikTok is actually he does reviews. He's a foodie on TikTok. And then he just now has his own taco spot. So I'm going to check out his taco spot. He's going to show me some taco spots in Vegas.
Have you talked to him recently?
Oh, yeah. What
does he think about all this?
He's been waiting.
What do you think? What does he think about all this TikTok divestment stuff?
Oh,
Is he afraid of it?
I don't know. I don't think we've ever talked about that. Like, I'm sure he is, but because he just opened a taco spot, and I think because of TikTok. So, that would kind of suck for some people that have actually made revenue or an avenue through TikTok. But I also understand the security risk on certain things when it comes to China.
I don't. Ban it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Ban it at the beginning.
Yeah.
And let the free market decide.
You
knew this shit.
That's true.
You knew this shit because it was in the EULA.
Yeah.
It was in the terms and agreements when they fucking started.
So would you say that they should have better agreements or guidelines like YouTube?
No, they already had it. What I'm saying is, if you're gonna fucking step in, do it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Don't wait for there to be a market. Don't
I see what you're saying.
Don't wait for Meta and TikTok. For Twitter and all these people to lose to TikTok, to their algorithm, to their platform, and then be like, now we're going to legislate. Now we're going to step into the open market. Either we are a capitalist nation or we are not. And anyone that could sit there and boldface tell me that we're pure capitalism, obviously that's not the case. But a mixed economy used to be the verbiage. Come off of it.
Yeah.
What we do have is capitalism for you and I.
Yeah.
You and I develop and thrive in capitalism. If we fail, we fail, and we reap all the liabilities that come from it. And if we succeed, we succeed. But once they get to a certain level, that's not necessarily the case. And I don't. Capitalism works when you believe that even those above you can fail, and even those that are below you can succeed. It does not work if you feel like there is a limit. Because that is communism.
Yeah. I mean, would you... Yeah. Capitalism could lead to anything, really, right? Because in capitalism, there's really no right or wrong.
Pure capitalism could lead to a monopoly and thus communism.
Because then if they do get to the monopoly, what makes us keep... to say, you know what, you monopolize this, we're going to come in now and make force you to spread,
You
right?
absolutely bring up a good point where capitalism is an Ouroboros. It's the snake eating its own tail. And I agree with you. Unfettered capitalism, what you'll eventually get is what? An Alphabet, an Amazon. You'll get individual companies that have done it better, horizontally and vertically integrated, to where they're offering a slew of services and at such an efficient price because of economies of scale that true competition is no longer fettered.
Yeah.
So does government have a place to play in promoting competition? Absolutely. Does government have a place to play in inhibiting competition? Because that's what they're doing right now. TikTok came in with an iron foot and stomped on all the competitors. They did it better, and the way social media works is, the value is in that people are there. So if everyone's at TikTok, then everyone will flock to TikTok because that's where everyone is. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. For the longest time, Facebook owned that.
Yeah.
And then in come Instagram, and then what did Meta do?
Yeah.
They bought Instagram. They bought the competitors. It's inherently anti-competitive. This is essentially that, but with the Chinese company, because they're forcing them to divest. And what's even more interesting, and I don't mean to get too political.
No, you're good.
We will
You're good.
eventually go back to Vegas. But when you brought up TikTok,
No, you're good.
because it's top of mind.
Yeah.
You have a Chinese government-owned company suing the United States legislator over something that they said was unconstitutional. Can we take a second and just enjoy the irony in that statement, that the Chinese Communist Party owned company is now suing us for anti not marketing practices, but anti-capitalist, anti-consumer, I don't know.
Yeah.
Insert your adjective here.
Yeah.
Consumer, whatever, practices. And it's just like, dude, how did we get here? How is China suing us for not allowing them to compete in a free and open market?
Probably going to win.
And they probably are going to win because it is against our Constitution.
Yeah. Well, you can't really get mad at a lot of people because it tells you when you download apps what they can access.
Yeah, you can.
On your app.
Yeah, you can. I don't have TikTok. I don't use TikTok.
Yeah.
You want to know why? I read the EULA and I was like, I'm good.
Yeah. No, I'm saying you can't if people still choose to use the app.
I'm with you.
I'm
with you. If
like,
the
how
market
can you
decides,
get upset if people are choosing that? They can yada yada yada.
You can't, but then that's a slippery slope as well, because just like capitalism will eventually lead to monopolies. If you allow for people, oh man, this is.
Do you ban everybody that followed Trump on his
platform?
Exactly
Where I was going with it. It's like, where does it end? Right?
Yeah.
And
do you ban all Biden followers because on social media?
Well, that's what this legislation does. Did you see? There's a byline, just like there's a byline in the EULA.
Oh, I'm pretty
TikTok,
sure.
There's a byline where the president of the United States can, at any point at his discretion, view a social media as a detriment to the open and free election cycle of our nation. So the president, the executive branch, can at any point say, Twitter is dangerous to our elections, so we're going to shut it down, or we're going to throttle it, or we're going to blacklist it for the next 8 months.
Yeah.
And Twitter just so happens to be owned by Elon Musk now. But Meta will allow, because they're more in line with our,
He could probably sign something in, but it would have to get voted.
Passed. They already
voted
and
it.
the Senate.
It passed that?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's law.
That's crazy.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's a thing, and that's why they're suing. Is they're saying that it's unconstitutional.
It's always something. Nothing's free anymore. There's no such thing as privacy.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's, what do men with power want? They want power. And we were talking about it earlier. We briefly discussed about what it was like to be the nail and then appreciating the power of the hammer.
Yeah.
I think there are some people that have never been the nail.
Yeah.
So they don't understand how big that hammer that they wield is.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way, every podcast seems to lead to politics.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that enjoys it because
Yeah.
I think it generally affects our life. But there is also a part of me that wishes that things weren't so polarized, things weren't so energized, that life was truly just about the individual and whether or not their ideas and work ethic could make them survive, thrive, or die.
Well, nowadays you can't really have conversation in politics. Like,
yeah, you can.
it depends who.
No, if you can't, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
If you can't talk
Yeah.
about politics, you're
Yeah.
a pussy.
No, I'm talking about like the ones that get into emotions and then they get all ticked off. Like
You're a pussy.
yeah, they are that. But I'm
By
just
the way,
saying, like
right
in general,
and left.
But I'm just saying, it seems like there's a lot more of those nowadays. Like as soon as you start
Because
talking,
most people,
they get emotional
you know what
on
happens?
any side.
You know what happens? When you talk about politics, it's
Yeah.
a broad word for a lot of nuance.
Mm.
There's state and local politics, there's federal, there's
Yeah.
international, there's geopolitical, right?
Yeah.
So when you say politics, it's kind of like a big word for that. And the reason I say that if you can't talk about politics, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
It's because whatever it is that you believe,
Yeah.
whether it's right or wrong, it's a matter of context and perspective.
Yeah.
I might think you're wrong based on the way I lived my life, but that doesn't mean you are. If you can articulate, if you can back up the beliefs and thoughts that you have, I think we should have universal basic income.
Yeah.
Here is my 10 reasons why.
Yeah.
I'm here to
Most
listen to
definitely.
it.
Yeah,
I'm here
heck
to
yeah.
listen to it. But if you're going to regurgitate dumb shit you've heard as if it's gospel,
Yeah.
by the way,
Right.
this is both conservative and liberal. 'Cause
Yeah.
for every,
Oh, hands down.
Bible humper trumper
Hands
there is,
down. Yeah.
there's also a blue no matter who liberal that I'm
matter.
equally not vibing with. I just think true nuance, intelligence, and conversation is becoming ever more difficult because of our echo chambers, which are in part and parcel to
Most
play because
definitely.
of social media.
Yeah.
That it's like, well, no wonder we're at this point where TikTok is now being banned, even though it's the number one social media in our nation.
Yeah.
We can have the conversation of the context, like why is the content being pushed to our social apparatus different from the content pushed on theirs? Because TikTok in China has a lot more educational filters, and here's how to read, here's how to write, here's how to do mathematics, here's like cool things, right?
Yeah.
While our TikTok algorithm is a lot more what I would call degrading to society. So like I'm willing to have that conversation.
Yo.
I'm even willing to say when they were immediately beginning this company, when you read that initial EULA and how invasive it was to data protection, the consumer protection, if you didn't allow it then and there, I'm all for it. What I'm not for is 2 years in, when they've established themselves as the juggernaut. And this is also coming from a guy, I don't use Amazon and I don't use TikTok because I don't believe in the companies.
Yeah.
I believe in voting with your money.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're red or blue. What matters is green.
Yeah.
So I don't use these companies because my own convictions, right?
Yeah.
I acknowledged the EULA. I acknowledged what I would have to accept to have TikTok, and I chose not to do it.
Yeah.
Does that make me better or worse? No, just I'm a consumer just like you are.
Yeah.
If you use TikTok, cool. You looked at that and you said the juice is worth the squeeze. Fine, it doesn't make you right or wrong. What I don't like is then when government comes in and steps into the free market at play. I would have much rather accepted X or Meta
Yeah.
or Snapchat or Discord legitimately competing with this algorithm. Do it fucking better, dude.
Yeah, right?
Do it better.
Yeah.
So I don't like the trajectory of this. I don't like the trajectory of censorship. I don't like the trajectory of sensitivity to thought.
Oh yeah, most
If
definitely.
you believe something,
You say what you say is believe what you believe.
Give me the context.
I don't even have to believe in what you believe. That's you, man. You live you.
but let me go a step further. If I
You
made
do
a comment,
you.
if I made a statement, let's say I said, I don't like Mexicans.
Yeah.
What would your first reaction be?
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to know what mine would be? Why?
Why would you want to know why they don't like them?
Because they
I would want to know why you telling me.
Oh, really? Yeah, you're
Like,
like,
why you
that's kind
telling
of
me you don't like me, bro?
Maybe it's because of the way I'm wired.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely interested how you arrive to your thought process. Like, you don't like Mexicans. Why? Because this, that, or the other. Where did you hear that information? From this source. How reliable is that source? Very reliable. Why do you think they were reliable? Like, when you get, like, maybe I'm a 5-year-old at heart. Like, why, kid?
Yeah.
But, like, you made a statement. You made a comment. You made a conviction in your heart.
Yeah.
Why do you feel so passionate about that to be articulate with it? Because there's a lot of things I think that I don't say. And there's very few things that I do think that I say. And the very few things that I do think that I communicate, I know are correct. I know that it's not okay to dislike somebody for the color of the skin or their gender. Why? Because that is the most shallow aspect of them. I know that it's not okay to dislike someone for their earning potential, because outside of America, you can't blame somebody else for that. In America, you can. Outside of America, if you're poor, that might not necessarily be your fault. I also don't think that it's okay to belittle someone whose means aren't necessarily the same as yours. It's easy for an individual to tell you, like, surround yourself with successful people, you become successful.
Yeah.
Tell a kid from the inner city that. Tell a kid from a favela in Brazil that.
Yeah.
Tell a kid coming over from a caravan in Mexico that just crossed the border illegally that.
Yeah.
Have fun with that one. Tell them that success is a mindset. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it from you.
Yeah.
So there are certain aspects that I think are the low-hanging fruit that are not necessarily defensible, right? But outside of that, I can understand how someone might think differently from me. I get that. Their perspective, their context have warped their perception of reality. It does not make them right or wrong.
Yeah.
I am not trying to dissuade you or promote you to my thought process. What I'm more than often doing is I'm asking you questions because I want to understand why you think the way you think. And when you can no longer articulate the thought process that arrived you to the decision that you've made, then you've lost the argument. I can tell you why I think the way I think about marriage, about abortion, about pedophilia, about conservative financial values, while socially liberal values. I could tell you why. I could tell you why I think they're right. I could make my points, and if afterwards I do so, you don't agree with me, I can respect that. But if you can't respond to my criticism, or you can't respond to my position with clear and concise logic, I no longer think that this is a conversation of mutuals. I now think I'm talking down to someone who is inferior to me intellectually.
Yeah.
And I think when you said the comment of, like, we can't talk politically, if I may, those are pussies.
Yeah.
You believe something and you don't know why you believe it. You're either dumb or a pussy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both left and right.
Yeah.
Both left and right.
No, I get what you're saying.
This is not a conservative. This is not a liberal thing. This is we are a society that has strong convictions.
Yeah.
And we are propagated to by both sides. And for some reason, unison or coming together for the greater good, you were earlier in this conversation discussing, you have a lot of people in your team that might have different viewpoints, but the same goal is unison, right? Mm-hmm. We are all for Taco Fest becoming the biggest thing it can be.
Yeah.
Taco King, the brand, growing, because then we create more prosperity to everyone. I would make the same argument that whether you're Democratic, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, what have you, all of us should have the same goal, and that's a more prosperous, a more energetic America.
Yeah.
In the first time in my life, I don't know about you, I can only speak for myself. In the first time in my life, I feel like that's not necessarily the case. I feel like there are teams, there are schisms that legitimately want the other side to lose at the detriment of themselves. If you and I share a wallet and I say I want you to be poorer, well, I'm poorer now too.
Yeah.
It's insanity.
Yeah.
That's how I view politics today.
Yeah.
Insanity.
Yeah. I can see it.
So that's my 15-minute rant. Your buddy is on TikTok. 300,000 followers in Vegas.
No, man.
Sorry.
I get it. No, dude.
It's clearly something I'm passionate about.
Oh, heck yeah. You're totally cool, man, with it. I talk politics, like, with people, right? Or
can we? I want to. I talk politics with people.
with those that are just the
NPCs.
Come on, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't want to be that guy, but
like,
they exist.
But I don't do it publicly.
Why
like,
not?
I know that.
Bad for business?
I don't know if bad for business. I just don't want none of that affecting my business or whatnot, I guess, in that way. Like, if you were to talk about Palestine and Israel, you know.
I'm not educated enough to talk about it.
Yeah. It's, just speaking up or even saying who you're with or whatever. Like, I I don't want people protesting at my festival.
Well,
you know, wherever I stand, you know, there's people on both sides that'll come out. There's those Bible people that'll say turn or burn. They'll come out, you know.
Jesus, yeah, you're not
So
wrong.
like either way, there's like so I just like for the festival purpose and the vendors, I don't speak. Now if I'm with people or like out and about and where we're talking, yeah, you know, I'll bring it up. If I feel tension from them, I don't even say anything because I'm not even trying to get in an argument or get you all worked up to be you know, turn into some crazy person, right? So but if, like you said, if there's someone that you can like literally talk to and not be offended or go, okay, yeah, I understand that more,
Well,
then there's those conversations that I'm cool with. I guess I just like for me, I pick and choose when,
battles.
you know, yeah,
maybe I will say that that avenue of approach is probably the correct one. But
Yeah.
then I would also respond with, when we no longer believe that we can have a conversation on a topic,
yeah,
and that topic now has more power over us than we do that topic.
oh yeah,
So if I, you know, there are very few things on this planet I don't want to discuss.
right,
And some of them are very dark, deep
Yeah.
places that I can't resonate with. I don't want politics to be that.
yeah,
Because if I can no longer talk about how I want to govern one another,
yeah, oh yeah,
what else is there?
oh yeah, most
How
definitely.
can you have
man.
a business if,
Yeah.
if we're not talking about who's...
I used to make fun of this teacher in high school for being independent and never talking about who he voted for. Like now, you know, if you say you get some proud Trumpers, man, and they'll wear the hat.
They're
They
loud.
don't care. They're just pro America. They wouldn't even say they're just a Republican. They think it's just the most American side of it out of both sides, right? And then you get some people that, you know, the left, they love Bill Clinton. They love the Clintons. They love Hillary. They love Pelosi. Like all the, like, you know, you're just like, I mean, I think that's crazy, all that on that side. But no matter what you say to them, they're,
We're solidified.
yeah. So what's the point? Like, what's the point to even have a conversation to
Maybe-
be like you really think they haven't had that abortion conversation 20,000 times, right?
You want to know what I
Or
honestly think? I honestly think
the
that people,
tax conversation.
I honestly think that people pull themselves to their own echo chambers and that they don't essentially...
we make opinions, right? And facts.
I'll give you an example. So Mike Rogers was on here. I think he was like our 4th episode, and he was basically saying that like now on social media, what he does is essentially he takes away the people that cause him stress in his life, and there is a beauty and a wisdom to that, right? It's just like I only want to attract like-minded thinking.
Yeah.
If you're a positive person, you don't want to be around negative people, right? So there's a part of me that can resonate with that thought. But then there's another part of me that's like, but you need that negative Nancy to constantly reinforce why you're positive. It's like, hey, brother, like you're looking at the negative, think about the positive.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about a polarity spin between left and right. I think a healthy amount of criticism is needed in all aspects of life. If in your business you only had yes men, yes, every idea you have is amazing and no, everything you think is correct, how long would you survive? I need people to tell me when I'm being dumb. I need to have the confidence in my ability to make decisions to steer the ship. But I also have to have enough enough humble nature to ebb and flow depending on how the people behind me are navigating me.
Yeah.
They have different skill sets. They have different perspectives. They have different views. I might see a certain path, and they might see other aspects of that path. And I'm trying to navigate this to politics as best as I can in saying, I don't know what's best for everybody. I think I know what's best for me. And I can only vouch what's best for me. And that's why I say I don't fault a person who votes for Biden. I don't fault a person who votes for Trump. I don't fault a person who votes for RFK Jr. or Jill Stein or whoever the fuck you want to vote for, Harambe in 2016. My only thing is you need to have a constitution, a moral back code for why you voted the way you did. If I ask you why you voted for Biden, have 2 good reasons. If I ask you why you voted for Trump, have 2 good reasons. If I ask you why you voted for whoever you voted for or why you think the way you think and the response is because of opposition, that's a bad reason. I tell you why I hate Mexicans and you ask me why and I say, 'cause.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a good reason?
Yeah.
What's your next question? That doesn't sound right. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You're right. That's kind of how I look at this political
Yeah.
landscape. There's a lot of people, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
Yeah.
And I don't fault the individual for how they think. I fault them for not knowing why they think.
Yeah. Well, would you say, like, for a lot of immigrants coming over illegally, they might vote a certain way because they got their freedom? Would that be wrong?
No, because they don't know immigrants. Can I be honest with you?
No.
Oh my God.
But you get what I'm saying? Like,
I do, because
like as us being Americans, we're like, that sucks. Like that we think that's horrible. Like, that's cheating. If anything, trying to win votes, right? But in their eyes, if I was them, I would be like, dang, I get to be here just as long as I vote for them.
That's not what they're thinking.
You don't think
There's
so?
no way that's what maybe the criminals.
Yeah.
Maybe the criminals. I cannot
Yeah.
say for the vast majority.
Yeah.
I can only speak from people like my family who
Yeah.
fled communism and came to this country legally. If they would have had the option to come illegally, I'm sure they would have
Yeah.
taken it. The thing is they didn't, because we were in Europe, right? If we were in the southern border and the only thing stopping us from prosperity and freedom is 50 miles of desert,
Yeah.
I guarantee you my parents would have taken that risk.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a lot of people from Europe now flying over to like Bolivia and stuff and taking the trip up now, because it's so easy to cross over. We can't touch them
Let us touch politics without touching it.
unless you're Texas.
Let me ask you this. With the declining birth rate of natural citizens or immigrants into the U.S., do you think this economy and this way of life is sustainable without immigration? Can I answer the question for you?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I think
It's not.
you don't think it's sustainable?
We have a declining birth rate. If you don't allow America.
But who in America has a declining birth rate?
America. What you're saying is like maybe Mexicans are having more children than white people. And maybe you're right. But what we're not doing is supplementing the amount of death we have with life.
Yeah.
More people are dying than living.
Yeah.
Or creating life. Or at the very least, we're breaking even, which does not constitute a growing economy.
Yeah.
You need more people. You need a stronger labor force. And I'll go a step further. You're going to need a younger labor force that's more volume than the aging if you're going to have things like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need a labor force that supplements that with their tax dollars. Correct? Yeah. If you don't have your natural citizens supplementing the dying population at a rate faster, so more births than deaths, you're going to need immigration to sustain this.
Yeah.
This is a problem that China's going to run into like a brick wall because of their one-child policy. They fucked themselves 20 years ago. Russia's also going to run into this issue, but from a difference of economic gain. Because they're an oligarchy and an aristocracy, the younger generation doesn't think that they can actually make it in life.
Yeah.
So they don't necessarily want to stay there. I take this from Patrick Bet-David in his podcast.
Yeah.
There's no Russian dream. There's no
Yeah.
Chinese dream. There's only the American dream.
Yeah.
Why? Because only in America can you make the best of yourself.
Yeah. Well, didn't they say Mexico in the next 10 years should be one of the like a powerhouse, one of the richest economies? Because I already know they just built that second airport in Tulum, and they have this. They're building this subway that can go from Tulum to Cancun.
Correct.
And they're supposed to be having like $10 billion come down.
But do you want to know why that's
Mexico.
happening? Because manufacturing is moving from India and China. Because
Mexico.
Because Mexican labor is cheaper.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So similarly to the industrial boom that India and China have received, Mexico is now going through that same industrialization, and the manufacturing powerhouse and the labor of Mexico is gonna receive benefits from that.
But people are still trying to get into America.
Why?
Oh, you get paid more here. You make more money. Most definitely, hands down. Yeah.
And I wish more Americans knew that.
Yeah, you definitely make more money here, man. And our dollar goes so far in those countries down south. I mean, you can go down there with 30,000 and you can probably live like a millionaire down there for a while.
But the argument could also be made that if you're not making those 30,000 in U.S. dollars, then you're not, right?
I'm just saying, like, you can go down there with that, and if you don't create with that down there, then you're
gonna be shit out of luck.
There's so much opportunity down south, not even just Mexico, even going further to the Latin countries, to Bolivia, to all the countries that are being overtaken by political dictators. There's a reason. There's opportunity. There's growth happening in those cities. I was just in Santa Cruz like 6-7 years ago, and it's a big city, but it's still so much growth. Like St. Louis is a way ahead of Santa Cruz, Bolivia.
When you say so much growth, it means so much growth to still be had.
Yeah, to be had. Yeah, okay. Man. Oh my gosh, so many businesses to do, like so many opportunities to create. Like,
but you look at that, and if I may, you look at that from the perspective of an American. That's not necessarily the legal landscape, the constitutional landscape, the judicial landscape.
No, everything's run by the government in those countries. So, heck yeah. But there's still businesses. And then they're not all businesses that are owned by those, by the government. So that's why you have a lot of protests and riots in those. But that's also why you have a lot of people fleeing the countries. Right, and coming to America, because you're not going to deal with that really here. So
can I ask you a broad question?
Yeah.
Do you have optimism or pessimism for the future?
Always optimism.
Why?
I just always like to be optimistic. Always great energy. It's always something to hope for, something to stand on, lean on, build on. I think it's the best thing to have. I look at that over even optics. I don't look at, you definitely good to have that and to say, oh, these are the predictions, but that's just a guide for me. And then I'll go, you know what? Now we're going all in, right? Or, yeah. So yeah, I like being optimistic way more.
The fucking Taco
Too
King.
much, maybe.
The fucking Taco King. No, I have optimism too, but for different reasons. I believe that humanity will succeed no matter what. It's in our best interest too. We'll just figure out a different avenue in which to do it.
Yeah, we kind of always have.
Yeah, really. For the last 250 years, it was America.
Yeah.
I don't know what form and shape that it will take in the future. I hope it's America because it's the greatest invention man has ever made.
Depends what happens here this year.
I don't think so, to be honest with you.
You think it matters?
I don't think the executive branch has as much power as people.
Yeah. I honestly think we're going into maybe not this election, but an election or two from now that it's either whoever wins, that will be the way. That's what I think. That's me personally.
For now,
tensions are high. People just don't care. Like, you talk about conversation. You only can have conversations with intelligent people. I don't think there's that many intelligent people out there when it comes to when it gets close to elections. It's you hate me, you're against. One side, I believe, promotes if you're not for me, you're against me, and you're against my existence. And
I would say that that's both sides.
Yeah.
Well, it's never been more polarized. Go to a Trump rally and tell them that you're going to vote for Biden.
Yeah.
Go to a Biden rally doesn't exist. Go to a Biden fundraiser and tell them you're voting for Trump. They're going to hate you.
Yeah.
You cannot sustain a civilized society in that manner because it's too polarized. It's too combative.
Yeah.
We have to remember what brings us together.
I think you can have somebody walk in and have a Biden hat, and you'll get those people to say something. But if you're not saying anything, you're not there to cause a ruckus and get attention, then no one's going to. I honestly believe that with those supporters.
You might be right.
I've like, okay, so for instance, like when, what protests were they? I think it was during the whole Mike Brown and whatnot. Oh no! It was when they were having it was after George. Yeah, no, it was after George Floyd.
Okay.
And then the having the kids in cells and what people call cages, whatever.
Oh, you're talking about on the southern border.
Yeah. I had put together a protest, and we closed down St. Charles Rock Road from Menards all the way up to the old shopping center.
Protest to what? The caging of children at the southern border?
Yeah, just bring attention to it and just how I thought, like the process, whatever, stuff was wrong with it. And just bringing a lot of Latin leaders together. And let's just say, hey, we're going to walk. We used the police. We worked with the police on it. I have nothing against the police. I support the police all day. Like in our family, we have Marines, Army. My grandpa was retired Navy, 28 years, buried him in Arlington Cemetery. Like we're a military family,
I didn't know that.
But I had the cops there because I look at it as one side may not care about the law and they'll spit and do whatever and whatever. And then the other side, they'll respect the law, right? And if it wasn't for the law, there would be some crazies that would run over people walking through the streets. At least that's what I was telling people that didn't like the police there. I'm saying, well, look at it this way. The people that respect the law are going to look at the law as here for protection and safety versus you guys looking at them as they're bad, they've done harm, and if they weren't here, things could escalate. And I don't want things to escalate. I want to make sure you guys are safe and you get your word out and you can express what you feel. And at the same time, the people that don't like it, they can't do anything because they respect the law.
And practice your First Amendment right.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, exactly. So it's like, so I forgot what I was saying about that, but I just know that I forgot where we were going with that, but with the cops. So either way,
I think that's code for us to probably end the podcast.
Right.
We're at 2 hours. Yo, we're at close to.
We're right there. It's this whiskey. That's whiskey.
Glenlivet.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It is whiskey. Man, it is technically a whiskey. Taco King.
Yeah.
Was this what you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, man, it was awesome. I definitely loved it. Yeah.
Did you? Good.
Oh, heck yeah, man. I love talking and. Like I said, I'm ready. I love telling my story and then be able to just start conversation and be a part of people's conversation and their adventure. Like whether it's a brief moment, I get to say, yo, we got to have this and whatever stemmed out of it, we grow, whatever, right? I just enjoy those.
I find you to be maybe I'm getting a little sentimental with my age. You're a beautiful soul.
Oh,
I like the way you think. There was a lot of things that I resonated with today, especially when it came to the entrepreneurial mind, the goal for the future, handling some of the circumstances of the past. My goal for this podcast was to give someone a deeper perspective of you. Maybe they got a deeper perspective of me. Fuck, Jesus.
I never saw that side.
I do want to thank you for coming on and kind of just sharing this moment and experience with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to end with this. I ask the majority, I wish I could say all, I ask the majority of the guests that are on here, what is a piece of wisdom or something that you've learned in your life that you wish a younger you would have known? And for you to share that with us.
Search for peace always. Like, and rejoice. Rejoice and search for peace. Like, and I think in everything in that, anything that comes at me, or the things that came at me before I was young, I would have handled it a lot better. And like that's what from here on out, like I've always it's rejoicing in everything and searching for peace.
The Taco King.
Boom, boom.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, man.
It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me on. It was an honor.
Dude.
I loved it.